Right, looks like we're ready to go. All systems are ready. So let's begin. Get on the record. And this is docket 5780 TE 111, the application of the city of Sturgeon Bay for authority to for approval of its revisions to its parallel generation tariff. This is Michael Newmark, the administrative law judge for the PSC, and we're connected with Zoom with the utility and intervener and commission staff in attendance. Made the connection available to members of the public. So this is both a party and public session, so we could take comments from the public live, but I do not see any members of the public in attendance at this time. If someone does join us before we adjourn, I can ask them at that time whether they do wish to make a comment. We are accepting written comments up until Monday, March 31st. I don't believe there are any comments on file in this second hearing, but if we do receive those, we will admit those into the record as well. And that's just about it for the preliminaries, I think. Let's move on to appearances on the record. We'll start with the Public Service Commission.
Sophia Rogers.
Okay, and Renew Wisconsin.
Sharif Halabish, Your Honor.
Okay, and Sturgeon Bay.
Kira Lair of Perkins Coie.
Okay, and I think we did make Whippy a party. Is that my understanding? No, can't remember anymore. Okay, they're on the service list. Oh, well, within Sturgeon Bay's.
Yeah,
right. Okay, a little cutoff there threw me off. All right, good. We got clear on that. So great. So it's our appearances. Let's move on to our offered evidence list. I sent this out to parties. It was 2 days ago, and did have a few comments. Just some. I think they were just some routine corrections. See anything too significant? Any questions about those comments? We just start with the applicant, Sturgeon Bay.
Just one very minor question, Your Honor. For the changes, we'll be renaming the supplemental direct to be second direct and making those other modifications you noted. Should we call it R or just second direct without an R?
No, I don't think you need to do the R because it's
Okay.
the first time you're filing the second direct.
Thank you.
Okay, how about Renew? I don't know if there's one comment, I think. Just the
Yeah,
one.
Your Honor.
I'm sorry,
one
your
small change.
volume, Mr. Halabish, your volume is very quiet. Can you turn it up a little? Or maybe I could put mine up more, but then
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry about that, Judge.
No, good, thanks. Just you need to hear, so definitely interrupt when you have to.
Just a small change for Renew where it says seconds or rebuttal. I think that's in the wrong witness.
Oh, right. Yes, I see what you're saying.
Thank you.
Yeah. And commission staff, any questions?
so that second rebuttal, it should be in the two more down and one over. I think you've got it still under Kel in the next line, what you just pasted. And then we didn't have any questions on your comments. The direction's clear.
Okay, great, thanks. And I think I just wanted you to confirm that the data is going to be a complete replacement. Is that?
Tyler, can you please confirm that? Is that taking the place or is it an additional?
No, it's a complete replacement.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's what it should be. So I just wanted to make sure because I didn't look through it. So
great.
So
Judge, I think you want to paste into that second to last box on the bottom the rebuttal from Tyler that was it used to be up in Andrew Kell's row.
Oh, I see. I thought that was okay. Fine. But I do have the seconds of rebuttal already there. So I just added it twice. It's like,
I'm not sure if.
is that? Yeah, it's different numbers. That's interesting. We can go off the record.
I think it might have been no, it wasn't Sir. Sorry.
Second Sir Humans, and that's 419. And then
You have the second Sir rebuttal and the second rebuttal in the same box right now.
the rebuttal. Oh, okay. That's it.
I think it was,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
okay, so it should just be one over then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not what I said initially, sorry.
That's okay. All right, there we go. I think we're good.
We do actually have one question. I'm sorry, Judge.
Yeah.
Are you back on?
Sure, yes, please.
Okay.
Commission staff plans to file exhibits for order numbers 69, 872, and 872A.
Okay.
Is there a preference for formatting those? We can submit them separately or all together. We could name them exhibit FERC relevant FERC orders or something else.
Well, do we expect to take any testimony from witness Mumins? Is he going to speak to that at all, or?
You can.
I mean, is it just in terms of its?
Well, you had made a comment asking commission staff to either provide those as exhibits or call them not record evidence.
All right, yeah, so in his testimony, right? It was within.
Yes, it was within his
Okay,
testimony.
so let's make it Mumins 3 then, and we can.
Okay,
So it's, yeah, because it's going to be related to his offer of evidence.
okay, that makes sense. We can do that, and we'll just provide one with all three. We
Yeah,
can just
I
schedule
think
on the page.
one should work, and just if you can have him describe that, while he's on, when we call him on the stand.
I'm sorry, what he's on?
I'm just telling on the record, sir. Just have him describe this when he's on the stand, what the exhibit is.
Will do.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect, thanks. All right. Just note this here. All right, great. So we have all the documents we're expecting, and they're in the right place now. No other questions or comments on the offered evidence list? No? Okay, so I can accept all the new documents on the offered evidence list. You'll see them labeled as, they will be labeled as second documents, and then any additional exhibits just continue on with the numbers from the prior hearing. But this list you're seeing now should incorporate the entire record of all the written testimony and exhibits for this proceeding. And I'll accept those into the record pending verification from the witnesses. So let's get started with the applicant. Call your first witness.
Your Honor, SBU calls Mr. Noldner to the stand.
All right, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
Mr. Noldner, did you prepare or cause to be prepared second direct and second rebuttal testimony in this proceeding?
Yes.
And is the information therein true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Mr. Noldner is available for cross.
Any questions?
Commission staff has cross.
Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Noldner.
Good afternoon.
We have some follow-up questions for you regarding your second rebuttal.
Second rebuttal, you mean?
I'm sorry, second rebuttal. Thank you. At page 5 of your second rebuttal, on lines 6 to 8, you indicated that, and I'll wait for the judge to reach that. You indicated that since the time of the first party hearing session in this case, SBU had sought confirmation from WPPI, and WPPI had confirmed that it would be purchasing surplus power. Do you see in that paragraph, or in those lines 6 to 8, your reference to non-legacy COGS?
Your reference to.
Non-legacy COGS?
Thank you.
I do.
Can you explain what non-legacy COGS means in the context of this statement?
Sure. Remember that legacy has to do with whether a customer continues to get the retail rate for the surplus produced or not. And there was testimony submitted about how many years that should last. And so this is referring to not those customers that continue to get the retail rate for surplus, but the other customers that get the new rate that is the subject of this proceeding.
So does commission staff understand correctly that WPPI intends to buy all non-legacy COGS parallel generation going forward?
Here at Sturgeon Bay, are you talking about?
Well, in this paragraph here, it's at lines 9 and 10, or 8, 9, and 10. I see, as such, there is no potential for differing surplus power purchases among WPPI members. All will be purchased by WPPI. Does that mean that there's going to be one policy for all members?
The way I look at that is there would be one policy for every member that updates their buyback rates, the PGS rates. So originally that would apply to Sturgeon Bay, and then as other ones are approved by PSC in the future, they would be handled the same way.
So does it depend on the commission order in each instance? Or is this something that WPPI would change at the outset of the application and irregardless of what the commission decided?
It's kind of a difficult thing to address, because remember that what's happening with most of these COGS is that it fully offsets their load, and if there's surplus over and above that, they get the retail rate. So until that changes, it doesn't make sense for WPPI to buy from the COGS.
I think that's clarifying. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you have anything more?
No, that's it.
So the analysis is, if it's going to be the retail rate, don't buy. But if it's going to be the avoided cost, some kind of avoided cost determination, do buy. And that
Yes.
will be uniform.
Yes.
Okay. And will the policy apply for all generation regardless of size and all service areas regardless of penetration this is intended to be a always buy policy, correct?
It is.
Okay. And will this update be memorialized in an amendment to the supply contract between SBU and WPPI?
Your Honor, I'm just going to object to that question. There's no foundation has been laid on this topic, and I don't, that's a very specific request that I think is not part of SBU's request for the commission to find its parallel generation rates just and reasonable in this proceeding.
Any response, Attorney Rogers?
We're trying to understand the certainty of this policy and whether it's something that the commission can count on. We have the supply contract between SBU and WPPI, which says that WPPI may decline to purchase. And we know from past testimony that it has done so, and witness Nollner, wouldn't deny that. I don't think he's denied that today. So we want to understand the change.
I think it's fair to ask how WPPI will memorialize this new policy if witness Nollner doesn't know that his answer can reflect that.
I know that it is a commitment that WPPI has made. I've worked for WPPI for 22 years. I'm not working for them today as an employee, but they've always followed through on their commitments. That would be typically memorialized by something that WPPI tells its members, but it would not rise to the level of changing the supply contract.
In what form would that take, telling its members, as you put it?
Probably an action of the executive committee.
Would another word for that be a resolution, or what would that be?
It would be up to WPPI and the executive committee, which is made up of members of WPPI, specifically how it's memorialized.
Okay.
May I continue, Judge?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that process something that the commission might expect to occur in the near future?
The commitment's already made. The memorialization, I would think, would happen in the future. Are you asking for something that goes to the Public Service Commission?
I'm looking for some means of verifying that this is a formal policy that will be followed. We don't have, like I said, we have the supply contract, which says something different. So having something that explained what this new policy is going forward and how it'll be implemented would give the commission some assurance that it can count on this commitment.
Well, first of all, the supply contract, this is within the bounds of the supply contract, as I think you know. The supply contract gives WPPI the option.
Right.
Not the obligation. For Sturgeon Bay, it is an obligation depending on what WPPI decides. Now, the commission regulates Sturgeon Bay, and Sturgeon Bay comes in for rate cases. This commission staff does audits as a course of that. So you could check in the course of the audits. Another thing is Sturgeon Bay, as has been discussed in the testimony, is willing to not implement the new buyback rate until and unless WPPI does buy, and has also said that they would notify the commission if that changed in the future. I don't understand why more than that would be needed.
If the executive, I think you said the executive committee of WPPI decides, did I get that right? The executive committee?
Yes,
Thank you. If the executive committee does memorialize this policy, would WPPI be willing to offer that as a notification exhibit or as an exhibit in this docket?
Your Honor, I can commit that SBU will provide that information if and when it is received.
Okay. And if it's not, if this docket's over, it could just be an SBU filing under its utility number, I guess, if that makes sense. I mean, I guess I'll let you and records management figure figure where it's supposed to go. Okay, so that's one item. And then I guess there was a possibility of changes being made to the WPPI commitment in the future that may come out in audits. And would SBU commit to just keeping us updated in terms of WPPI's commitment to buy the COGS?
that's already in the testimony, that
Mhm.
offer.
Yeah, okay, good. Anything else, Attorney Rogers?
Yeah, do you have any ideas as to how staff could verify that practice is in place?
By auditing Sturgeon Bay, or you could just ask them to verify it at any point in time. That information would be looked at as part of any rate study.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a few questions about a few follow-up questions about your testimony from the first party hearing in the case dealing with WPPI's practice as it stood then. And before diving into that, can you confirm this will still, well, the non-legacy COGS are still subject to the old policy that WPPI had, correct? I think you've said that before. Do you mind?
The non-legacy COGS or the legacy COGS?
All right, thank you. The legacy COGS remain subject to the old practice, correct?
Yes, legacy COGS are only the PGS1 customers, because there is no legacy on PGS2.
Okay. I think I understand what that means and I'm going to continue, but if it doesn't make sense what I'm asking, let me know.
Sure.
So in your testimony at the first party hearing session, you had indicated that for a very small amount of generation, it's not worth the cost of billing for WPPI to purchase that energy.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on the billing costs that you referenced? And I have a quote if it's
Your Honor, if
helpful.
we're talking about specific testimony here, I think it would be helpful to have it up and know exactly.
Is this from the, let's go off the record for a second. Is this from the hearing transcript? Is that?
Yes, I've got the IRF number, Judge, if you.
Yeah, let me get the right, what page I can do that. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
504164.
Maybe here. Doesn't look like it'd be too small text here. Let's see.
The window is small, but the text looks fine. So the discussion started on page 118.
The number on the top, 118.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get on the record. Let's just direct the witness to the portion of the party hearing transcript that you're referring to.
Thank you, Judge. Witness Noldner, I'm looking at the bottom of page 118. May I direct your attention to the question from Examiner Newmark? When you said WPPI has the option to purchase that energy, is that something so it can refuse to purchase? Or did you mean to say it's required to make that purchase? And your answer, WPPI has the option to do it under our contract terms. Now, if it's a tiny, tiny amount, sometimes it would cost way more to implement than it's worth. Did I read that correctly?
That's what I see on the screen, yes.
And then, Judge, if you can go to the bottom of page 127, there's a similar exchange. At the bottom of that page, line 22, you said if there's very small amounts, it costs us more to bill than it helps the WPPI system. But we have the right to require Sturgeon Bay to sell it. So I'm interested in the cost to bill. Do you
Your
remember?
Honor, if I may get a better understanding of where this is going, I think what the record indicates right now is that WPPI will be purchasing going forward regardless of the cost.
I thought that was only for the non-legacy COBs.
I believe that is for the non-legacy costs, but I also believe Mr. Nolder just explained why that it was only for the non-legacy cogs.
Understood, but for the legacy COGS, I think the policy is still as described in this original testimony, is it not?
Remember I mentioned that the legacy COGS are PGS1, net metered monthly. Well, today they're net metered perpetually. And so the customer effectively stores the energy on the utility system and takes it back later, or gets paid the same rate for that. It really doesn't make sense to, how would you purchase something that's stored? My comments here were directed more to PGS2 situations.
Thank you. So so because this is just about PGS2 and there are no legacy customers on PGS2, this is moot. This policy no longer applies to any customers.
At Sturgeon Bay, correct?
Well, as you're proposing the commission as you're suggesting the commission should decide this case, right? Because if it doesn't accept your proposal, you'll be back to where you started. I mean, that's.
Well, it depends on what the commission does.
Depending on what okay. I want to make sure.
Yeah.
I'm just man, make sure you haven't changed anything internally. It's still.
No.
Situation is as it is now, as it's described in the transcript, until the commission changes makes its decision, and then WPPI will change its policy based on the commission's decision.
The WPPI is already committed.
But
yes,
it's already implementing that commitment, or is it still contingent on the commission changing?
Well, there's nothing to implement it on.
Because it hasn't created. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I think I just want to confirm that under the proposal and the commitment by WPPI, all parallel generation customers would trigger WPPI to begin that policy of purchasing excess generation, regardless of generator size or penetration.
Yes, as I described before, it does depend on whether it's legacy or not. But the other terms that you brought up, yes, regardless of those things, WPPI commits to buy it.
And how does it depend on whether it's legacy in Sturgeon Bay, service area where we don't have any legacy customers on PGS2?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Judge, would the stenographer please read back the question and answer?
Just which
The
one?
last question and answer.
Okay, well, let's see where we're headed because I don't.
Well, do you want the question where he said, I'm not sure I understand your question? Do you want the one
Sorry, before that.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Thank you.
I think I just want to confirm that under the proposal and the commitment by WPPI, all parallel generation customers would trigger WPPI to begin that policy of purchasing excess generation regardless of generation size or generation. Question, answer. I mean, that was the question. Answer, yes, as I described before, it does depend on whether it's legacy or not. But the other terms that you brought up, yes, regardless of those things, WPPI commits to buy it.
Thank you. Witness Noldner, did you hear in your response your words that it depends whether it's legacy or not?
Yes.
What did you mean by by that?
Thought I explained that before. If it's legacy, that applies to PGS1 that's net metered. And until the legacy period is over, that surplus generation is reserved for each of those customers to offset their retail load. And if they generate over and above that, the legacy treatment gives them the full retail rate for that. So there's no way for WPPI to pay the retail rate for surplus that's being stored for future delivery to a customer.
You also said that there were no legacy customers on PGS2.
Correct.
So why is that a relevant consideration?
I believe it's because the question stated all parallel generation customers.
Okay, so if I were to modify that question from all parallel generation customers to all PGS2 customers, would your answer, well,
I think you want to ask it again.
I think I agree. And I'm gonna attempt to say it again without asking Debbie to redo it for me. Okay, so is it accurate to say that no matter the size of the generator and no matter the penetration rate in the service area, going forward, WPPI's new policy would be to purchase all excess generation under the PGS2 rate?
Yes.
I think that's all I have. I'm just going to ask staff to confirm for me. And we're good. All right, no further costs. Thank you, Witness Noldner. Thank you, Judge.
Any other cross?
None, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, take care. We'll have our next witness.
SBU calls Mr. Stawicki to the stand.
Okay. Here you are. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Mr. Stawicki, did you prepare or cause to be prepared second direct and second rebuttal testimony in this proceeding?
Yes.
And is the information therein true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Mr. Stawicki is available for cross.
All right. Any questions? Start with Renew.
None, Your Honor.
And commission staff.
None.
Okay. Thanks, you're excused. And we can take witness Kel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Renew calls Andrew Kell.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? No, now I can't hear you. I don't think it's me this time.
Hear me now.
Oh, yes, excellent. So just answer my question.
I do, Your Honor.
All right, perfect. Go ahead.
Hi, are you the same Mr. Kell who filed or caused to be filed second direct and second rebuttal testimony?
Yes, I am.
Are those documents complete, correct, and truthful to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, they are.
Do you have any corrections to make?
No, I do not.
Your Honor, Mr. Kell is available for cross.
Okay. Any questions from the applicant?
No, Your Honor.
Commission staff?
No.
All right, thanks. You're excused. Move on to commission staff.
Commission staff calls Tyler Mellemans.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead.
Mr. Mellemans, did you prepare and file or cause to be filed the direct testimony, second direct testimony, second rebuttal, sir rebuttal, and second sir rebuttal testimonies in this case?
Yes, I did.
Did you also prepare or cause to be filed exhibits Melleman 1 and 2?
Yes, I did.
And are you sponsoring the staff, the PSC data requests, the special data requests on the screen in front of you?
Yes, I am.
And do you have any additional exhibits that you plan to file?
Yes, I will be sponsoring Exhibit PSC Mellemans 3, which will contain FERC orders 69, 872, and 872A, which have been discussed several times throughout this proceeding.
Are the statements and representations in your testimony and exhibits true and correct?
Yes, they are.
Do you have any additions or modifications to your testimony or exhibits at this time?
I do not.
One question for you, Tyler, and I didn't prep you for this, but did you hear the testimony of witness Noldner describing how staff might be able to verify WPPI's new practice?
Yes, I did.
Are you or your staff the people who perform audits that witness Noldner is describing?
The rates staff is involved in rate cases, though we do not conduct the audits themselves. That is handled by the audit team at the PSC.
So you would not be able to comment as to the viability of Mr. Noldner's suggestion?
Through the case of a rate proceeding, we could certainly issue data requests, though I can't speak to just how precise our information collecting abilities could be on that matter.
Can you comment on the ease in which commission staff has been able to gather like information in the past, or if that's beyond, if that's too speculative, feel free to decline.
That would probably be too speculative. It's not exactly common in a rate case proceeding that we get into sort of the extreme minutia of the agreement between a utility and their wholesale supplier. As stated several times throughout this case, this is a pretty tiny amount of money in KWH involved that, at least historically, just hasn't risen to the point that staff would take special attention to that. So the short answer is that I would have to speculate as to your question.
Okay. Appreciate that. Judge, if you have any questions on that.
Well, I mean, I guess if knowing what you know from commission practice, historically if there's an issue that comes to commission's attention, would it be auditing that issue and zoom in particular on a particular item? And in that case, could it do so here?
Yeah, over the course of a rate proceeding, whenever staff identifies something that is of concern and worthy of, extra attention either for staff themselves or the decision maker, we absolutely spend additional time and resources looking into that issue and would do so here.
And that's and doing an audit on a particular issue would entail expending more staff resources and time.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Millimans, would that require participation from WPPI, or could that go straight through SBU?
I would have to speculate with that answer. I don't know that I could say confidently.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't want to ask you to speculate. Okay, that's all we have for Mr. Millimans. Open to cross.
Okay,
Just a few questions, Your
Yeah.
Honor.
go ahead.
Mr. Millimans, have you reviewed Mr. Stewicky's supplemental direct testimony?
I have.
Thanks, Your Honor.
Supplemental, which one? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Supplemental direct.
Okay.
So the,
I'm getting now there's
I'm sorry.
okay.
second
All right, no, you're right. That's fine. I know what you mean. The
Thank
second direct.
direct. Page 4, please, Your Honor. Do you recall this portion of the answer? And if it would help you to see the question and answer, please feel free to request that.
Are you referencing a specific line item? Otherwise, I would probably need to see the question as well.
If we could scroll up to the question, Your Honor. Right, there we go. The one beginning at line 11 and continuing through the end of the testimony.
I do recall this testimony, yes.
Okay, Your Honor, if you don't mind going to this second, thank you. So we can see like the last paragraph. Perfect. Do you see in there that one of SBU's commitments would be to file an affirmative statement in this docket indicating that WPPI was purchasing as it has committed?
Yes, I see that.
And that SBU would also promptly report to the commission of those purchases by WPPI wherever discontinued?
Yes, I see that.
And the commission has authorization over SBU to ensure that it enforces those provisions?
The notifications,
Yes.
generally speaking, yes.
And commission staff could ask any questions in response to those notifications that it deemed necessary in order to obtain any additional information on those topics?
To SBU, yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Any other cross? No? Okay.
None, Your Honor.
Thanks. Redirect?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, great. All right, thanks. You're excused.
Thank you.
And That's all our witnesses. So I think we had left open any briefing schedule. If parties wish to brief, we can set something up now.
We do, Your Honor. We are hoping for both short briefs and short schedules.
Okay, well, let's see what, has anyone discussed this amongst themselves yet, or is this?
Oh, are we on the record?
Sure, yeah, let's just stay on the record for a bit. I just curious if anyone, if this is the first instance we're talking about this, or did parties discuss it before?
I reached out to Renew's counsel, I believe on Tuesday, and also to Commission Staff's attorney yesterday, proposing initial briefs be due April 8th and reply briefs April 14th. I'll let Renew speak to its response.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Your Honor. We are okay with a short and brief of a limited scope, but we are not. We're not in agreement on initial brief being on the 8th.
Okay.
Just
Do you
look at
have
my
an
calendar.
alternative date?
And for clarification, Your Honor, in my conversation with Mr., I'm sorry, is it Hollowish?
Yes, correct.
We did not have the answer at that time, so I have no idea. I have no idea what they're thinking.
No, that's okay. Yeah, we were waiting for the hearing, but I just was curious if we had any proposals. So, is there an alternate from Renew?
Yeah, Your Honor. I think for us, the week after, so the 15th, for an initial brief.
And then when would you propose your reply?
So a week after the proposed date.
Your Honor, I would just like to note that this proceeding has been going on for what seems like my entire lifetime. And that is an extraordinarily long briefing schedule for a second set of briefs. The commission has been doing briefs, initial briefs in the realms of 7, 9, and 11 days. We actually gave 12 days for this one. And now we're looking 3 weeks out for what should be a very narrow topic.
Your Honor, so Renew Wisconsin is a small organization. We represent a lot of diverse interests, and that ends up meaning I'm involved in a lot of dockets. So we kind of handle demands of like filings by relying on like relative uniformity in when briefing is scheduled. So because of other briefs and my just recent hiring here at Renew, it would take me the normal amount of time it's expected for briefing, or not expected, but that I've seen in the past.
Yeah, why don't we set it for the 11th and the 18th? And they'll be both due at 1:30 p.m. Okay, anything else we need to address before we adjourn? All right, well, thanks very much, everybody. Just expect your refilings due in the 3 working days, and you'll be getting the draft transcript. We'll go through the correction process if you want to engage in that, and we'll expect your briefs as well. So with that, I think we have everything. So thanks very much, everyone. We're adjourned. Take care.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Can you wait for me?
Oh, yeah.